Did remote learning change the dynamics? Absolutely. It changed everything. I teach, I depend on my relationship with students and the trust that I can build with them. And going remote, while I had the chance to do that ahead of time, I'm not going to say it stressed it, but it changed it. Open a Zoom with a student, and all of a sudden you're in their house, in their room, and you don't know what you're going to find every day. Um, I had students break down, like just lose it because of the stress of what's going on. And yeah, I'm really glad, happy, I don't know, that they were able to do that with me, that they felt safe enough to do that. But still, as the teacher, as the one opening that window into their house, this was by far the hardest thing intellectually and emotionally I've ever done.
There's this walk I know. Parts of it are simply stunning, but you have to know where to look. Sometimes you need to know how to look. Finding beauty is a mindset. It's not dark. The sun is just sleeping. In a lot of ways, this idea is applicable everywhere. Quarantine turned the world on its head, but it's important to highlight how we kept going. For this, I turn to a few people who I can always trust to keep going. Teachers. This is Andrew McCann, a humanities professor at Dartmouth, and my dad. And this is his office since he started working from home. I asked him what remote learning had done to his students, and he said,
I think when students were studying remotely, they got tired much more quickly, and that had something to do with spending a lot of time looking at screens. Also, the context in which they were studying was fairly distracting. There was a pandemic going on, and a lot of their attention was going to that, and there was some worry about them getting sick or family members getting sick. They were also studying in a wide variety of spaces in their houses, which took some of their attention away from their studies. Online learning for us used a no credit system, not letter grades, and that changed the motivation for some students. And then just not having face-to-face contact with their peers and with their professors also changed the learning experience in a way that might have affected some of their motivation.
This is Josh Hall. He is a music teacher at RMS and he taught me throughout middle school. Now he had a more optimistic perspective on remote learning.
Was any of it sustainable? I think all of it is sustainable. It is totally possible to earn advanced degrees online. There's honestly no reason why we couldn't have some kind of music education online.
Mr. Hall is right. In fact, there are already several exclusively online universities.
It just would not be the same as having it in person. You won't have a choral experience. You won't have a ensemble experience, but you can still learn to play your instrument and be very successful and play in an ensemble. It'll just be in independent parts, and maybe you hear a click track or you hear the music with your part removed so that you play it in conjunction with it. But musicians work this way throughout the globe when writing songs and recording songs and releasing songs. Often they're not even in the same country, but they're doing tracks for each other. And so music education can work that way. It just needs to be set up so that the expectation is there that you're going to practice you're going to be learning this particular material. We're going to be creating this recording that is going to be our concert. And so that it's just a different framework to work in, but it doesn't mean you can't teach things. So all of it is sustainable. It's just a matter of rethinking.
This is Joy Roy. She taught me math in the 5th grade, and she is by far one of the kindest people I know.
It was also really important to have the empathy on other levels. You know, I think of one student I had who whose mother had left with her baby sister for Eastern Europe, and her mom and her baby sister were stuck there and still are as of this day. And this is in June, and they left in late January. And so initially, this student was very motivated, and then she just hit a wall because she missed her sister and her mom. And she just wanted to hug her and hold her and know that everything was going to be okay. And so to me, it was understandable that this student hit that wall. It had been months. She had been doing the work, doing her best, motivated, and then she just struggled. I can only think and only imagine what it's like to be a 5th grader. And so these are really the connections for me, were the first and foremost.
This is Heather Lapine. She taught me math in the 7th grade.
Quarantine has ignited a different side of teaching from being able to teach in person. It's made me truly appreciate the liveliness, thoughtfulness, and overall amazing presence of students. It's undeniably harder to teach remotely. Normally I can scan a class to see student faces and get a sense of where they're at both in mood and understanding, elicit questions and responses during a discussion, and quickly check student work and give feedback. The virtual classroom, not everyone is comfortable having their camera on, understandably, and participating in a chat is pretty different.
Let's talk about dealing with remote learning and COVID-19. What did we do to keep going? This is my friend Adam. He's a freshman at HHS, and I thought he might be able to add a little bit more insight into this.
Life in quarantine helped me to realize how important your mindset is in life. At the beginning of the quarantine period, I was focusing a lot on all of the things that the quarantine was taking away from me without seeing how many positive things the quarantine was giving to me, like more time for myself and for my passions and to see my family.
It wasn't the same as being in the classroom and having these important conversations in a circle on the floor together. Nothing replaces that kind of connection time when it comes to technology. But we did our best.
And if there's nothing about online, the remote situation that became more apparent is that teachers are flexible, students are flexible, and the desire to learn is innate, and that people want to learn. And so just given the opportunity to pursue that learning, amazing things will happen.